Welcome to the InFlow podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Bosch. Excited as always to come to you today with another episode of the podcast. Today, I wanted to talk about doing six-figure land deals and little known secrets that are the key to doing a six-figure land deal. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's go ahead and go for it. Welcome to the InFlow podcast. I am your host, Michelle Bosch. I see a gaping hole across society that focuses on the outer work and forgets about the inner work, when what we really need is to bridge the gap between prosperity and spirituality to live a life in flow, with inflows of light, inflows of cash, inflows of creativity, inflows of grace in our lives. Each week, join me for powerful messages and interviews that will leave you inspired and ready to step into flow in your higher work. So now, let's go. Yes, so today we are talking about something that most land investors don't talk about in scaling their business, and in scaling it quickly by focusing on bigger land deals. And I'm not just talking 50, 20, 50, $60,000, $80,000 deals, but I'm talking about six-figure land deals. And six-figure land deals, yes, there is a blueprint. There is an actual know-how, an experience, a key to finding the right market, to finding the right, area to focus on, the right offer, the right negotiation, how to talk to that specific type of seller, because it's going to be a much more sophisticated seller. You're going to be talking to a much more sophisticated buyer. But even before that happens, there is something that most investors do not talk about, and that is the fact that you're going to have one ingredient that is super, super important, that is going to give you the power to be able to go after a six-figure land deal. And that ingredient is confidence. Confidence is 100% power. And it's about finding, when I'm talking about confidence, it's about, finding unwavering connection and trust in yourself, or trust in the experience and the expertise of a mentor that you're going to lean on, basically on past either, successes that you've had, or on the past successes that someone else that is guiding you through this process has had. And you're going to basically maintain that intimate, that unwavering connection to that confidence and that experience. And that is what is going to help you basically go out there and commit to doing a six-figure land deal. So commitment at the end of the day is even a precursor to the confidence. And I know that, if you've been listening to us, if you've been watching, myself, my husband, or any of our trainings, that we are big believers in confidence, and that confidence cannot come if you have not committed, if you have not mustered the courage, to sometimes ride out the turbulence, or even, the courage to start something new, because for many of you, if you've been doing and you've been hovering in the $10,000, $7,000, $15,000 deals, it requires that you renew your commitment and that you renew or muster the courage to go for a larger deal, to take down a bigger deal. And that you can only do by gaining the capability, by actually rolling, your sleeves up, doing the work, doing the hard work, and using smart strategies to identify those properties, to put those properties under contract, to market those properties, sell them quickly, and close on deals. So, and what you're going to discover is that, they're not necessarily much work. They just require like a pivot of focus, of expertise, of an angle on how you're going to go about them. But at the end of the day, behind all of that, that is like the facade of like, yes, the strategy, the tactic, and so on and so forth. But behind all of that, you're going to have to start with having the commitment first, by having the courage, by gaining the capability so that you can gain the confidence. So that's something that, I wanted to definitely bring forward, because it is great to have grand visions, of, yes, this year, 2021, I'm going to go for, larger deals. I'm going to go for 6-figure deals. I'm going to do, incredible quantum leaps and jumps in my income, from these kinds of deals. And sometimes, you're going to, and that's fine. But in order to do that, there's got to be either you will have had to have gained the confidence in yourself, from having done something already very, very successful in a different industry, or you're going to have to muster the confidence and maybe start with a smaller deal or go straight into a bigger deal by basically leaning in on the confidence, the experience, the breakthroughs that perhaps a mentor, is there to guide you through. And when I talk about mentor, I'm not talking about somebody that wants to be a hero to you. I'm talking about somebody that is actually a guide so that you can be the hero of your own life and of, your family's legacy and vision that you have for your family. And so yeah. So I know that if you are right now listening, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're driving to work, maybe you're just sitting down, chilling with a glass of wine. And what I do know is that the reason that you're listening to me right now is a much bigger and much more magnetic reason than, yes, the 6-figure land deal. And what I am here to propose is that you are listening to me right now because there is something in you that has still not, I don't know if the word is expanded or has not been activated, I think is a word, has not been activated when it comes to having the courage to go for bigger deals and having the confidence, more than anything, the confidence to go for bigger deals. But your soul has been craving, your soul has been craving that higher level of confidence code be activated. I'm truly a believer of that when our soul wants to expand, wants to grow, that, we are going to have people that are going to cross our path, or things that we're going to hear, or a strategy, or just a little nugget from someone, from somewhere, that is going to come your way, and that is going to really allow you to, push through and move forward. And yes, get that freedom of money, get that freedom of time, get that freedom of relationships, of purpose going. And that's going to happen because you have this bigger attraction. And that bigger attraction is really for your own soul and for your own self to there's a big desire to really grow, to really expand, to really go beyond your ego mind and really believe that you can do something bigger, more than what you have been doing right now, or maybe different. I don't know if more is always the right word, but different than what you're doing right now. And you can expect that if it's something different than what you're doing right now, you can expect your ego to actually, fight you as you embark in a new journey. And that's okay, because you are seeing the sacred in what you're doing, and you are pretty much attracted to really a growth that is beyond a bank account and a bank balance, but you're attracted to a growth that is really more about expanding your consciousness and really becoming who you were meant to be all along. And so I know that this is something that normally, if you were to go and talk about or listen to any real estate podcast or any real estate training, people are not going to talk about, but I think it's something that is most definitely overlooked. And that is, like I said earlier, that activation of a higher confidence in order for you to, take down a bigger deal, and that confidence can come from you, starting something new and basically pushing through the resistance that the ego is going to say, no, I don't think you can do this, or why, this sounds too good to be true. And you're going to fight it. And what you're going to find is that when your ego is having, this dilemma of should I do this? Should I not? That is one of the most vulnerable points. Sometimes we feel incredibly vulnerable when we're in that situation, but when that vulnerability is really on the other side is our biggest breakthrough. And I wanted to definitely bring this today to you guys. And, we have many clients where we see inside of our coaching program where this is exactly what happens. And for some of them, it might take them weeks, for this kind of like code to activate, this confidence to really expand and activate. And for others, it may take a couple months, 4, 5, 6. But during the course of this 12-month journey, what we see very often is almost like there's this kind of like recalibration in their ability to not just receive, bigger and bigger visions for their lives and for their families, and have not just bigger goals, but the resolution to, being resolute on those bigger goals. And that's because they understand that now, that there is this other phase, of having a successful land flipping business, any business for that matter, and that they are craving that, and that they're willing to go through the discomfort of that expansion, of their confidence and of themselves, and put themselves in situations that they know are going to not let them whizzle out, out of growing, and that sometimes, support is important to them. It may be important to you. And that they want somebody that is going to be there, not necessarily to be a hero to them, but to definitely be a guide so that you can become the hero of your own family, of your own storyline, and can really push the boundaries of what is possible when it comes to, freedom, like I said, of having money in the bank, freedom of really being able to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do, of having a team, of bringing people on board that you absolutely love, that you love working with, versus being stuck in a job, working with people around you and colleagues that might be in a completely different frequency and wavelength than the one that you're in right now, and in the path that you're on. And so yeah, there's all of these things that, that we don't talk about, that we don't consider, and that, we may sometimes, overlook. And so if you are at all, if you have been part of our masterclass, I know that many of you know that we do masterclasses here every, 6 to 8 weeks. We have been at least doing them right now during this period of COVID, and we have seen so many families' lives being transformed by them being able to understand that, that their ego, when they were about to make that big commitment and that big investment on themselves, their ego was trying to stop them from doing that. And they pushed through that because they understood that, right at that moment when they felt really, really vulnerable, what was on the other side was an incredibly huge breakthrough for them and for their families. And so if at all, you find yourself in this situation as you're listening to this podcast, if you've been, doodle daddling, I think is what my daughter likes to say, and kind of like that, tapping your toes or dabbing your toes in the water and testing it and seeing if it's warm, and thinking about, oh my goodness, maybe I should have one deal under my belt first. But you have not really started, and you've been seeing, that there's people that have gone through sometimes, free trainings with you that have actually committed, that have actually, done the work, that have actually mustered the courage and now are on the other end, really experiencing that activation of that power of confidence because they're seeing the results and having six-figure, leaps in income in months, in as short as, 4 or 5 months. Then it's time for you to do something about that. Yeah. If you are at all in this same situation that I'm describing right now, you should definitely book a call with our team. We are at landcoaching.com. You can go to www.landcoaching.com and talk to one of our team members. Everyone in our team, for the most part, most of our team members are land flippers, and nobody's going to be trying, to sell you into something that is not a good fit for you. Because I have to say that not only do you need to, be willing to grow in the person, in your soul and in your spirit and in your capability and in your confidence, but more than anything, you need to be a person that is willing to put in the work, that does not shy from hard work, that has the attitude of the top 1%, that is a yes, I can, that yes, I am the person that goes for audacious goals that actually would make others crawl under the table. Yes, I am a person that, as I am meeting my own personal goals, believes in being of service to others, of being of service to sellers, of being of service to buyers. There's got to be a fit. We want, to bring people into our community and into our sphere that are going to be, the type that train like an athlete, that train in their business basically and work in their business like athletes train in their sport, and that are there for peak performance, that are there going after, like I said, big audacious goals, that are going out there and are willing to do the reps, and are willing to and pretty much do whatever it takes to kind of blow and push through any old patterns that they may have been repeating, not just in their adult life, but maybe they've been repeating generationally, from parents, and that now they know that it is up to them to interrupt that pattern so that the next generation, their children, does not continue, that same programming, if you want to call it. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. There's a whole lot of talk and conversation and hoopla around six-figure land deals, and there should be, because they're one of the biggest, fastest, most potent ways to really scale your business, turbocharge, your land profits, from land flipping. But the precursor to actually, to the tactics and to the strategy is confidence. And that confidence, sometimes you have to build it up yourself. Sometimes as you're building it up, you have to lean in the confidence of others. But regardless of which way you go, confidence is going to be a big, big, big key ingredient. And, that most other real estate, in my opinion, trainings out there do not talk about. And they just, paint the picture of how easy it's going to be, to talk to your seller and talk to your buyer, and how the negotiation is just going to, fly by like a breeze, and the marketing is going to be a breeze, and so on, when sometimes all of that is going to require a level of sophistication, a level of skill, a level of capability, and a level of confidence that allows you to pretty much put those deals together and make them actually something that becomes normal. Because at the end of the day, once we have, that activation kind of like in our confidence and in our being, we normalize those. And it's time to push the next boundary of what's possible. It's time to push through the next ceiling of complexity, the next ceiling, which may be an additional zero in a land deal, or partnership or structure, of a deal, and so on and so forth. So if you love today's podcast, please go ahead and give us a 5-star review. I would be, thrilled. Also, if you have any questions, if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram. You can reach me at Michelle Bosch Official or Michelle Bosch inside of Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn. And I'd love to hear what you thought about today's episode. And if, like I said, if you enjoyed it, give me a 5-star review, pass it on to someone else that needs to hear this. I am looking forward to spending time with you guys on another episode. And thank you so much. I honor your time and attention. Bye-bye. Until the next one.
I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to get inflows of cash, inflows of light, and inflows of faith in your life. I welcome your reviews on iTunes. Please leave me a review and help me create an amazing community of women in flow. Thank you, as always, for sharing your voice by going to michellebosch.com and joining the conversation about this show. And while you're there, grab a copy of my 10 Commandments to Living a Life in Flow. You can also follow me on Facebook at Michelle Bosch and on Instagram at Michelle Bosch Official. Thank you very much, and until the next one.